Hi guys, and welcome to Ask a Lawyer channel. Hope you are having a wonderful day today. Today, I'm back with new stories for you. The first one is about a twin sister OP doesn't want to invite to her wedding, but is afraid that it will tear her family apart even more. Listen till the end of the story to hear my insights. Enjoy the stories, guys, and don't forget to like and subscribe, and don't be shy to leave a comment. My twin sister and I have had a horrible relationship for the last 23 years of our life. The kind of relationship that people said, "Oh, you'll get over it when you're older." Except I'm not over it. She physically and verbally abused me my entire life and continues to do so over trivial things now. When I was 18, I ended up moving 44 hours away from my family, but it was to get away from her. She's ruined most of my friendships, and I just couldn't handle her anymore. After moving, her and I have been, for the most part, no contact. When we do talk, it's always for her to start a fight, either making me feel bad for not coming home for a holiday or just something. Most of our family understands our relationship, but my mom, as she has for my entire life, continues to be oblivious to it. "Oh, it's not that bad," or "all siblings fight." She's the kind of mom you see in those movies saying, "My baby would never do that," as the child is getting hauled away for murder. Yep, that would be her. I've been in therapy for the last 5 years to try and get over our relationship. But aside from the whole woe is me, 2 months ago, I got engaged to the most amazing person. And as one would, I called my parents, then called my older sister, and finally, I called my twin, hoping that she would be happy for me or, I don't know, just something. Well, she was not. She told me how selfish I was for getting engaged to a man who lived so far away and how she already knows I'm never going to come back home. How selfish that is to my mother, and went on like that until I hung up about 30 minutes later. She told me I should be ashamed for asking guests and my family to come to my wedding so far away, which I had already planned to offer at least half the cost of plane tickets. Even more for my family, but whatever. This month, we have begun to plan the first details of the wedding. The guest maximum for the ceremony would be 100, and I think that's even more than I was thinking originally, as I'm really just wanting it to be close friends and family. We were planning to invite more people to the reception. Is that normal? I've never been to a wedding before. People with kids and friends that I'm not as close to. We have decided that at most, each of us would have 4 bridesmaids or groomsmen. I'm still trying to figure out who will be it as well. However, already I know that the last person I want to be my maid of honor is my sister. I don't really even want her being in my bridal party. That decision has all but crushed my mother. She's really upset about it, calling me names and telling me how selfish I am for not being able to let go of our childhood. I hate to see her upset. However, I know that having my sister in one of those roles will for sure lead to fights, and I really don't want to be judged for every decision I make. Would it ruin my relationship with my sister forever if I don't have her in my wedding? I would like to have some sort of relationship one day. What can I do, and how would I even tell her that she's not in the party without causing a fight? In my opinion, the relationship is already ruined. I think if OP doesn't want her at her wedding, she shouldn't invite her. It's her important day, and I'm sure the sister will ruin it. So why risk it? OP's twin abused OP and continues to. So she doesn't need that kind of relationship. And OP's parents allow her to, and seemingly did not correct the behavior. Mother has shown a lack of empathy for OP's past and present, as well as her now taking the reins to abuse OP more. Does she only care about her image of her children getting along? Her inaction for years previously shows she does not actually care for her family to get along. Or she would have corrected OP's twins' behavior before. Update. Thank you for the support, everyone. It's been quite a busy couple of weeks for my fiancé and I. I have decided not to have my sister in my party and invite her to the reception only. My fiancé's groomsmen, brothers, understand the situation and will be playing security. Haven't yet talked to my mom about the decision. Our bio parents died when we were about 1 year old. We went into foster care for a few months. Then my parents adopted me. He was adopted a few years later by his parents too. My parents never told me I had a brother, and not only never attempted for us to spend time together, but they declined when his parents came forward and wanted my parents to let us get to know each other when we were kids. And my parents picked a new name for me. I never knew any of this until last year when he approached me. Parents denied it at first, but eventually admitted to everything. Since then, we've been getting to know each other and getting close. Since COVID hit, I've been spending a lot of time with him, and we've been bonding very well. He has 2 moms who are great too. They're very nice to him and me, and always make me feel welcome and relaxed. My parents are upset about all of this and keep telling me that I should keep my distance. I'm doing it too fast. I'm trusting him and his parents too soon. I'm gonna end up hurting myself. Really? And things like that. They also don't like it that I've developed an attachment to my birth name, and he does call me by that name, and I like it. I think this is even more of a big deal for them than anything else. And then there's my grandma, who hates my brother with a burning passion, who thinks I dress too inappropriately in front of him because girls shouldn't wear thin clothes, robes, or swimsuits in front of strange boys. As if he's just a random guy to me. She lives with us, and if he comes over, she always plays detective to figure out what we're doing together. Her objections are that I dress too immodestly and laugh too much. We sit or lay on the bed too close together, and worst of all, we close the door when we're in my room. Yeah, because she doesn't respect our privacy. I should go to jail for these serious crimes. So last night, parents and grandma had a sit-down with me to voice their concerns. They accused me of forgetting about my real family and losing my soul. What does that even mean? They say they're worried about me and will only allow me to continue spending time with him if I agree to 3 boundaries. I am always to be referred to by the name that parents picked, rather than birth name. I should be a lot more careful about what I wear in front of him. This is Grandma's rule. She wants me to basically dress like her. I don't think my parents care about this rule as much. My time with brother must be supervised by my parents or grandma. That means no going out or at his place or with door closed. I find all these rules to be very unreasonable, and I find their objection to be childish, and I think my grandma needs help. How do I keep the peace while seeing my brother? I think parents and grandma are a little bit crazy. Also, I think if people decide to adopt a twin, they should adopt both of them and not one. There is a fascinating documentary by CNN called 3 Identical Strangers about an experiment in the 60s where twins and triplets were adopted to different families and monitored by scientists to see the effects of nature versus nurture. The documentary shows that there were really some negative mental health impacts to the separated twins. Maybe OP's parents should watch it. I think OP should try to talk to her parents and grandma, explaining her feelings. But to be honest, I think that won't make a lot of difference. Their attitude is just shocking. My partner, female 33, and I, male 34, have been together for about 7 years total, with a short 6-month break after a couple of years. A few years ago, we started talking about kids and houses. We both said we started saving roughly 2 years ago and have been talking for about a year about where we would like to live. She had been sending me pictures and adverts of houses just outside of our local city where the prices are low but we would be isolated. I had been pushing for somewhere about 20 to 30% more expensive that would keep us close to both our parents. I have tried to explain to her that even if she wants to come out of work to raise children, that my wage is more than enough to do that, pay the mortgage, and have a decent lifestyle. Right now, my wage is about 33% above the average for our country. On top of which, there are other allowances available to families too, so we would have been fine. Anyways, we were both saving into our own separate bank accounts, and from time to time, I would ask her how much was in there, and she would tell me XYZ, which was always pretty in keeping with the expected total. Except for one point last year when she was about 2 G's short, and I called her on it. She said she had needed a bit of cash for things and hadn't been saving as regularly as we agreed. She said from now on, she would put regular amount into the account at regular intervals. Okay, sorry this is so long. This year, I talked to her about going to see a mortgage broker about 3 months before I actually organized the meeting. This was to make sure we had the maximum deposit for the maximum mortgage we were going to get. She agreed. I set up the meeting. She came. The broker asked about our savings. She replied, circa ABC, which was the expected amount. We took the forms home and filled them in together, after a little of her putting it off. She started sending me more houses to view online. We actually went to view one together at her suggestion, and I went to another that she couldn't make it to. Now the meat of the story. The broker keeps asking me for her bank account statements, which she hasn't provided. So I keep asking her for them, and at first she said she ordered them. Then she said she'd reordered them. Then she said every time you ring, you are left on the phone for an hour. Then she said she had a fight with the manager and the manager was personally posting them. She said she couldn't print them herself because it is a special savings account which doesn't have online access. Partly true. HIH interest account, you must give like 28 days notice to withdraw money. Then she said the bank has no branches in our city. Stupid me. I never verified this, but also half true. They only do these weird walk-in offices, and there are only like 4 of them in our city. I give her the benefit of the doubt, but at this stage, I've told the story one too many times, and it clicks in my head. It's complete bullcrap. So I go home and start checking through the other documents that she did provide. Her current account statement is there, and so I take a quick read of it. And I can see that she is saving about 75% of her wages into 2 different accounts the minute she gets paid, and then withdrawing that and then some as the month goes on, leaving her spending between 25 to 50% more than she makes in a month. I finally decided to check out this literal worst bank in the world. Called them, got through in 2 minutes flat. The account she was saving into, luckily for investigative purposes, is actually a joint account that I never used. The guy advises me to go to a fake branch and get a statement. Instead of the 2 years' worth of savings she is supposed to have done, the account is empty, save $200. I work 12-hour shifts, sometimes many days in a row, weekends, overtime, you name it, to make sure that we can save and still have nice things. I have avoided spending money on myself so that we could afford to do things together. I feel like the whole time she has been laughing at me. The thing is, just as I found out that all this has happened, we also found out that we are having a baby. Paternity test is obvious choice here. So I feel trapped now. I feel lied to and betrayed, and I am only halfway between walking away and jumping off a roof. Just a thought for now. I feel like this person has repeatedly had chances to come forward and didn't bother to, and yet keeps talking about getting married and having a family. I need advice. Has anyone ever heard anything mental like this before? Am I a damn moron for trusting the girl I've been dating for 7 years? P.S. I do definitely want to speak to her parents first, in case the child is mine and she runs off telling lies about how it hot her or something, so at least they can back me up. Help! Edit. Yesterday I was so panicked that I couldn't think straight, and today I am able to breathe again. I have decided that I am going to speak to her mother to protect myself in the next few days and then confront my girlfriend the next day and suggest that I take over all of our finances and control our spending. I don't think I would be okay walking away from my long relationship with someone I love or my child, but also cannot take any chances now that something similar will happen in the future. I'm usually pro-relationship and pro-talk things out, but I don't think her spending away her savings is the issue now. It's the lying and deceiving for the past 2 years. She never gave OP the truth, even with plenty of opportunity. Going to the broker, going to view the houses, etc., etc., etc. She could have come clean. Said, I need to confess, I apologize, and I admit it's completely my fault, but I didn't manage to save up the amount I promised to save up, and I don't think we can get our desired home at this point. Can you possibly give us a little more time or lend me a sum that I can slowly pay back? If she realized how wrong what she was doing was. But she didn't. Nothing. She couldn't even respect OP enough to do that. And OP had to find out about her empty savings by checking through the accounts himself. She's a liar from head to toe. The baby being in the picture changes many things. Of course, I can't say OP should doubt her loyalty just because she lied about saving money. But what are his options? In my opinion, he should do a paternity test to make sure if the kid is his. My 32 male daughters, 4 female, babysitter, 19 female, kissed me last night. More than a year ago, my ex passed away in an accident. We had a daughter together, but I had never met her before. We broke up because I didn't want kids, and up until she died, I was nothing but a monthly check, and I was cool with that. After she passed, I got custody of my daughter and started to try to be a dad. I needed help also, so I hired a babysitter, and later my mom moved here to help me out. In the past few months, I found out that my daughter is profoundly gifted, and I've been trying to deal with that. Now, onto the situation at hand. Over the last couple of months, things between my daughter, Lexi, and her babysitter, Molly, and I have went from a normal boss-employee relationship to a gray area. I have recently noticed that I started to catch feelings for her. At the beginning, Molly would babysit while I worked, or take Lexi to preschool, or pick her up when I wasn't able, like normal. A bit later, I invited her to dinner with us, and it became a normal thing. Molly would eat with Lexi and I, and even would see movies with us sometimes. We all enjoyed it, and it started to feel like a little family. A bit later, Molly went to a movie with just me. She even started coming to D&D with me sometimes, and would sit up and watch Netflix with me after Lexi fell asleep before heading home herself. I've never acted on the budding feelings, but I did make a post asking if I should. The answer was almost unanimous that it was a bad decision, so I didn't. Yesterday, I was off work, so I took Lexi and Molly to Disneyland. It was a great fun day and all, but a few times things between Molly and I felt a bit awkward. At the end of the night, I dropped her off at home. She asked if she could talk to me outside for a minute. I said okay. Molly started by apologizing for making things weird and said that she has been thinking a lot about everything. She said that she really loved Lexi and she was really happy that she met us. She knows that since Lexi is in school full-time now, that she knows her time with us would be a lot less, and she wanted to tell me that she felt really happy, and she hugged me. I hugged her back, and I knew that I had made a mistake. I held on too long, or too tightly, because a second later, our eyes met and she kissed me. The kiss was short and sweet. She also instantly apologized and ran inside. This morning, she didn't say anything about what happened, and neither did I. I don't know if I should, or how to proceed. I don't think it's a good idea for OP to start a relationship with the babysitter. She is only 19 years old. I'm sure she is not ready to be a parent or a wife. I think she just has a crush on OP. OP's daughter needs stability. I think OP should get a new babysitter. Also, OP should let his daughter adjust to life with him before bringing in a new mom figure. Dating her now is a bad look for multiple reasons.